U.S. Book of Agriculture started
Just writing.
pasting things into it.
I see.
So there's actually an article that Larry Pointer found of the shootout. The famous shootout is in here. It's all in Spanish.
Does he speak Spanish?
Well, he
Larry?
speaks Spanish, and so he was able to translate it, and he used it in the book, so it's in the book there.
So there's an actual shootout,
There was a shootout.
Yeah.
and he wrote it in his journal.
No, he just had an
The
article
newspaper
about the shootout
copy,
in the
yeah.
newspaper clipping about the shootout.
About when the federales surrounded
Yeah.
and
He didn't
shot.
mark it or anything like this is Butch or whatever. We know there were other American outlaws down there at the same
Oh, yeah.
time.
And this
But
is
he has a
the
lot of different things in here.
Percy Siebert journal, just to be
This
clear.
is Percy Siebert's scrapbook where he just pasted stuff
That
on
is
these
so
pages,
cool.
and that's where the original Butch letters came that he marked, but they were clearly in Butch's writing compared to the known
Right.
example at the Utah State Historic.
Well, he was a newspaper reader, you can tell.
Yeah. See, here's his card here, the P.A. Siebert, P.A. Siebert, P.A. Siebert. So there's his cards and his 4 different cards.
I see that. Yeah.
And
That
these letters
is
of Butch were
amazing.
just stuck in here, marked by him, letters from Butch Cassidy.
You know, we're on this an amazing adventure, but pretty soon the public gets to see all of the discoveries. So you've got amazing stuff here, Brent
There's some
Asher.
interesting things, and Larry, when he came to my old shop, he was really enamored by the Siebert scrapbook, because it gave him a lot of hints on things.
That is awesome.
Like you'd expect on an old scrapbook, it's just mostly scraps, you know.
Yeah.
He didn't write on a lot of it. There were a few things he wrote on. but
Sure, thanks.
Not much.
Okay, so now we're doing the Bandit Invincible. Susanna Ryan is our DNA expert from California.
The thing interesting about that is the opposite side, where it was all his stationery.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take one photo of that.
Yeah. Okay.
You
Sure.
know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or you just, you can turn any of them over because he used it. I guess didn't use it on the front. I speak it.
I saw it.
I
though,
speak
when
it
you-
with forked tongue. I thought I was gonna roll 'em, but it's on most all the pages. You'll see if you turn it over. Or I think it's got every other
Okay, it's on the
page,
bottom
I know
there.
I'll be on the bottom.
Okay.
So what would be the most valuable thing to gather DNA on the Bandit Invincible document by William Thaddeus Phillips?
I don't know that we're gonna get anything off of that.
Yeah. I
Really
guess
don't. Yeah.
it would be possible if he read the manuscript after it was typed, so, because the information that is being provided is that his wife typed it.
Yeah.
So I would anticipate that her DNA might be present.
Yeah, and I don't know what. Yeah.
And then,
And that dealer had it for years.
right, so it's hard to tell who might have handled
So,
it. So that's why I do think the handwritten pages are gonna.
and I handled it too. So
Yeah,
a lot of people. 'Cause I had to make a copy for Larry.
gotcha. I think that probably the handwritten pages are gonna be
The key.
the best chance,
Yeah.
but that isn't to say that there wouldn't be anything on
No.
this if it's
Mhm. That'd be a shot.
being handled. So we'll take a few, take some swabs from a few pages
Do
here.
you need my DNA or do you need?
I am gonna get your
All right.
DNA, yes, actually. So don't be
You're
forgetting.
such a good sport, Brent.
Yeah.
No, I'm trying to make this happen too. I mean,
Yeah.
anything we can find. Brent Ashworth was Butch Cassidy.
Now, that would be a trick.
That we don't want.
And now I'm glad I'm filming. That was funny.
Well, that's okay. Statute of limitations, you're clear.
I'm clear over the LGA.
The only thing doesn't have statute is murder, and he didn't do any, so you're good.
That's right. He never killed
I
nobody.
don't think I killed nobody, but
He just sent the boys out to kill him.
I had at least one guy tried to kill me once, but that was some other friends.
Well, I've
That was
been.
the opposite side of law enforcement. They probably would have liked to see me go.
Well, he was so smart, he blew himself up a little bit. So
Yeah, that's right.
So this is
My
the
dad thought that was
inside
a
of the
miracle.
Bandit
Yeah,
Invincible.
Yes.
they weren't really on his trail before that.
And Bruce R. says there aren't guardian angels. I'm sorry, Bruce.
You say that, that's a dumb thing to say.
Well, that's what he says in,
Is that right?
yeah,
His book?
in good old
Yeah.
Mormon doctrine. He has several things wrong in there.
So,
Well, I know he had a few
Susanna, you're
things
just
that-
doing a couple of pages of the Ben and
Yeah.
Invincible?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is so much fun. I can't even tell you. You know,
Yeah, it's great.
21 years in the 2 books. I have now 5 books that I'm total. I have 2 finished and 3 more.
Well, me, it goes back over 50 years.
I bet.
I'm tracking down.
We've all wanted to know what happened to Butch Cassidy, huh?
Yeah.
Even before 1968 when the movie came out.
Well, that you see why
I should've
it's
brought
so
my posters to the
popular.
movie, shouldn't I?
Oh, yeah.
You probably, one of them was too big though. It was a big 3-sheet thing.
Mhm.
Gotta figure out what to do with all this stuff.
And I have a feeling if this turns out positive, we've got a lot of work to do. Because you have things I never knew you had. And
I hope it's helpful.
oh, Brent.
He has things he forgot about.
He
Oh,
forgot.
yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm discovering all the time.
I
I don't
know.
really need to collect anymore. I just need to go through my stuff. Really, because a lot of it I bought in collections, I never went through it.
That's what my wife says too.
Mm-hmm.
You got enough books, Greg. Don't get any more.
I'd be happy to give you a few thousand more. We've been helping with prison libraries and others that will take books. Most people won't take books anymore. So
Oh, yeah.
yeah, I had the Gunnison prison. I don't know if I told you that story. It was kind of funny. But a few years ago, when I was on one of my missions of the church archives, so I was feeding stuff to them too. They just wanted me to bring up my stuff. Yeah, President Hinckley. Anyway, that was my mission call. Bring up my stuff. So we spent 7 years doing that, and they never did get through it all. They finally gave up on me, I think. But during one of those years, my wife's always looking for places that would have an interest in taking books, and she heard that the prison in Gunnison, which was relatively new at the time, wanted a library. They didn't have any books, so she called the warden and set it up for me to call him, and I did. He says, "Well, I understand you've got books, Mr. Ashworth, you're giving away." And I says, "Yeah, I'd love to help with your library." And so I spent that whole summer with a box for the church and a box for the prison. So we went all summer. It was kind of interesting, box. And I had to be careful about what I was throwing in either box. And the prison warden was real specific. He says, "We don't want anything on guns, bombs, women, children." You know, he named the topics he didn't want anything on.
For the
He says, "I don't
prison.
care if you go with old
Historians.
geography books or
Oh,
something,
yeah.
just
Old
something for
textbooks.
the inmates to read. That's fine." But he was specific. And so all summer, and the church was sending a truck down every Friday to pick up their boxes, okay? So I didn't keep theirs very long. But the prison didn't come down until I was done, and I had about 2,000 of those, a little over 2,000 of those U-Haul boxes that stack. They hold about 30 to 50 books, depending on the size. I figured about 10, 15,000 books I had for them, and by the time they came down, I called up the warden and I said, "I've got your books for you. It's filled up a unit," and he said, "Well, I'll be down tomorrow." So I brought 2 big trucks and 4 of the biggest guys in striped suits I'd ever seen. Okay, and they had that cleared out of there in about 20 minutes. What had taken me all summer to put together. And I thought, man, I wish I had this manpower. Just doing things. And there was one book that I almost threw in their stack, but I thought, it was called The World's 30 Greatest Escapes.
Ooh,
And I thought,
maybe
if I
not.
put that in there, if they're going to question every book, there's one that's just bent under there.
Sorry.
That last group, yeah. They'll question everything that I put in there. I don't want to bring any of this stuff back. So I didn't put it in, but I was sure tempted.
That's a
But
great
then
story.
when they moved Mark Hoffman down there a couple years later, it really hit my funny bone because I thought, this is a guy that's going to use the library.
Mhm.
And he's going to see my name either in a book or stamped or something.
Mhm.
And it started me laughing. I don't know, it hit my funny bone because I thought I shouldn't. I should never laugh at anybody's misfortune. But in his case, since he was trying to kill me, I thought that might be appropriate. And I thought, this guy's going to use the prison library, and there is some justice in the universe. He's going to be reading books that I don't have.
Karma works.
I asked the warden a while later, I says, do you want to take any more books? He said, I really want to get rid of a lot more. He says, no, thank you, we got plenty. So, I did my best to dump them, but that's as far as I got. So if you ever have any libraries that want books, let me know.
There you go.
I'm trying to get rid of 'em.
That's a great story.
Yeah.
Thanks.